What blockchains do is essentially revolutionize the core business of what a bank does, which is banks maintain ledgers, right? And a ledger is just an account of what's in their bank and what's going in and out for each of their customers. What is a blockchain? It's a ledger. So basically it decentralizes the ownership and management of that ledger. So a large part of what a bank does, as in the updating and keeping of that ledger, now is no longer in their hands. My name is Jillis van Gerp. I work as a mostly back-end software developer on all sorts of projects. I've been flirting with the Coder Society on a lot of different topics for about a bit over a year now. I see myself as a glorified plumber, right? So if you have a lot of people that specialize in machine learning or deep kind of algorithms, I'm not that kind of person, but I know how to use stuff and how to fit things together. Part of the craft is actually knowing which pieces are out there, which pieces are up and coming, and how to fit them together and making sane choices there. So I always joke that our industry is a bit like a fashion industry, right? So it's like you talk to a developer and they're talking about this technology and that technology, you talk to them 6 months later, nah, that's so yesterday. What's a blockchain? It's very simple. It's a shared bookkeeping system that is tamper-proof through cryptographic means. So there's a couple of variants of blockchains. So you might have heard about a thing called mining. So that's one variant. Mining is super expensive and also not very environmentally friendly because it involves burning a lot of energy to basically implement something that is usually referred to as proof of work. It's actually not very practical to transact in Bitcoin because it's super tedious. It's very slow, takes like minutes, hours before you're really sure that the transaction happened. So it's not something you're gonna do when you pay for a cup of coffee. But as a holder of value, it's potentially interesting, right? So people historically consider gold pretty valuable, and yes, it has some practical uses, but mostly it's valuable because it's rare and shiny. So it's nice to look at. Yeah, and Bitcoin, of course, is not very shiny, but it's artificially rare. The hype is partly utopian thinking, right? So there's people that are dreaming about a different world where the evil banks are no longer in control. And then, of course, now reality is kicking in and other people get involved. So you're now seeing Facebook jumping into blockchains, but they're not necessarily doing it in a way that is compatible with the worldview of those early adopter utopians. So Libra is the first case of a serious group of companies sort of collaborating to take blockchain and launch a platform that basically they can use to build financial instruments. And of course, Facebook's intention is to integrate that into chat and offer a payment solution that is very similar to things like WeChat in China, where users basically chat with each other and can send each other money in a very straightforward way or pay for things in a very straightforward way. So from a user point of view, not much changes, but what is disruptive here is that this stuff is kind of happening outside of the traditional financial system and potentially even involves a new currency. So what happens when companies start pricing their goods in Libra instead of euros? So if you're buying stuff with Libra, it also means that you can actually earn Libra. Yeah, there's a potential for a whole economy to emerge around this stuff. My suspicion is that what Facebook announced probably already led to a little oh fuck moment in several of their competitors that are probably also planning similar things, maybe accelerating those plans already. So I expect a reaction in the industry where more people start announcing stuff like this. So I think they might be successful. I don't think they will be alone. Short term, a lot more experimentation. I think there will be a big consolidation phase at some point. So right now there's so many things out there and they're not all going to make it. In fact, most of them are not going to make it, but some of them will. So right now, if you look at the blockchain space, there's a lot of hype. There's a lot of speculative investment happening. There is not a lot of real world use happening. And that's, I think, something that will start changing in the next 5 years. In the end, I don't sell hype. I sell my skills as a craftsman. So answering the mundane questions like, okay, what are we building? How's this going to work? How do we stay safe? How do I keep myself and my CEO out of jail, right? I don't want to be doing dodgy shit. In the end, my view as a technologist in this space is very simple. It's like this stuff is happening. It's happening in a lot of different ways, via a lot of different platforms, and basically it pays to sort of be up to speed on what those things are and how those things work, and then selling your skill, basically doing productive stuff with that, right? So that's what I do. When I'm not working on Inbot, I'm actually freelancing. So if you want your own coin, talk to me.